calm, zen.
Turning Red, the newest Pixar film released explicitly to Disney+, bypassing cinemas, which is an odd choice for a Pixar film, but I guess makes sense for a slow movie release week. Maybe they didn't want to compete with the Batman from last week. Anyway, Turning Red follows a young, energetic 13-year-old girl named Meilin Lee, a Chinese-Canadian girl living in Toronto who works with her mother taking care of one of the only remaining temples in the city. She goes to school with her friends, deals with her tiger mom, and suddenly coming-of-age blessing of becoming a giant red panda when she gets too emotional. What could go wrong? Well, according to some of the one-star reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, finding yourself and going against your parents, apparently. Now, in reality, it's a fairly solid movie. It does have some issues and is far from a Pixar masterpiece, but it's still good and has a few milestones that just haven't been seen in many films at all. First off, the style and flair of this movie is probably the first thing people see. It's wild, it's cartoonish, it's highly stylized, and frankly, I really like it. Finally, Pixar tries something different besides just cartoonish realism. Eyes are very anime-esque, the expressions are exceedingly wild, and it's just fun and varied to watch. It's similar to Luca, but in a more frantic pace, whereas Luca very much takes its time and has slow expressions. Speaking of the pacing, especially in the first 10 minutes, it might be a bit too hectic. It speeds through exposition at a rapid pace with voice acting that is just okay and feels a bit stilted at times, and that can certainly turn people off at the start. Thankfully, it slows down once the red panda is fully released, but those first few moments really need some smoothing out. Now, as for the story, I think it's strong for the most part, but a bit overplayed. Most coming-of-age stories kind of are, especially those geared towards families instead of adults. This one definitely has some unique characteristics, but overall is a bit too simple and non-challenging. I mean, how many times have we seen a story about a teenager going through, quote, changes and feeling stifled by their parents? I'll give this one point though for using Chinese mysticism as a metaphor for having a period for the first time. That's cool, despite the ending feeling a tad generic. And the metaphor is a bit too heavy-handed with the literal red monster in the room. The other point I can give this movie is the realistic portrayals of these kids in 2002. The way they interact with friends, deal with crushes and new feelings, and just spaz out and goof off, it feels real and varied. I can also say the little details in the background are great as well. I believe in one quick scene I saw a character with a diabetes patch on her arm, and that's really cool to see in such a small unneeded detail that was nice to throw in and make the world feel more alive. There's tons of small details like this throughout the film, and that's a great step in the right direction. I just wish this movie was a bit more complicated. There's not much nuance that isn't spelled out in the first 5 minutes, and there's nothing that is unexpected or new, and that's a real shame. As such, I can give it a decent score and recommend seeing it, but I'd be hard-pressed to say to watch it multiple times or rank it among the favorites or Pixar greats. It definitely could have used some rewrites and maybe slowed down in some areas, but overall, it's still enjoyable and has a good message for kids and parents too. Turning Red gets a 7.5 out of 10 from me. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into another one. I've been a Pixar fan for a while. There's definitely a few movies that I haven't seen though that I really don't feel like I need to, but I grew up on Pixar, I get it. But at this point, I think Disney should just do a realistic family drama. I was calling it since Lilo and Stitch, since the family drama in that was great, could have taken out all the aliens, and it would have been a fantastic movie with just focusing on the sisters trying to survive together, and that would have been great. They were already weird, they were already funny, and ethnically diverse. So there you go, it's pretty simple. I think they need to do a grounded in reality film. Maybe it doesn't have to be CG, but if it's Pixar, probably. But I think they're going way too far into the idea of cute thing learns a valuable lesson. It's every single Pixar movie, we get it. But there could definitely be something that's more grounded. I'd be interested in seeing that. I think the writing team here and there is very strong and can get some really good stories out there. I mean, look it up. Soul was pretty good too. Luca, I really like. These last couple ones have been very much more grounded. In scope, I mean. They're not huge, oh, we're going to deal with the world or we're going on a grand adventure, except maybe Onward. But yeah, it's much smaller in scope, and I like that. I think this could be a good film to just watch. Anyway, that's it. Let me know below what you think I should watch next or review. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell so you always get a notification. And yeah, that's it. Have a great day, and if you're not, have a better one. See ya.
Shadows on the blind, two hearts are mercenary, but like a dancer on the wire. Come the sparks of free desire as the fires carry.